Sometimes a game is more than just a game. It's a statement. And tonight, we're going to dive into one of those games, an absolute nail-biting overtime thriller between the OKC Thunder and the Utah Jazz that had pretty much everything a basketball fan could ever ask for. So let's get right into it and break down how this whole crazy thing unfolded. So you got to understand the stage was set with some serious pressure. The Thunder were just coming off an absolutely brutal home loss to the Hornets. A game where they were just completely outplayed. This wasn't just about getting a W in the win column, it was about proving to themselves and to their fans that they could bounce back and get that swagger back on track. Now, if you just look at the paper, this thing should have been a walk in the park, right? You've got the 30-7 Thunder, a legitimate title contender, going up against the 12-23 Jazz, a team that's in a full-on rebuild. This was supposed to be the perfect bounce-back game for OKC. But, as we all know too well, games aren't played on paper. And that brings us to the game itself. And look, it started exactly like you'd expect, with OKC just firing on all cylinders. But then, well, the script completely flipped. The Thunder came out just swinging, building this massive 20-point lead before halftime even hit. They looked dominant, totally in control, and they were well on their way to that easy win everybody predicted. They were absolutely playing with purpose. But just watch what happens here. After the first quarter, OKC has a nice, comfortable 9-point lead. But by halftime, the Jazz have already cut it down to just 5. Maybe OKC took their foot off the gas a little, I don't know. But the Jazz, led by guys like Lauri Markkanen and Keyonte George, they just refused to go away. They kept fighting in the third, and then, after starting with that huge 20-point lead, it was gone. It had completely evaporated. At the end of regulation, the game was unbelievably tied. And so, here we are, the end of the fourth quarter. It all comes down to one final possession. The entire game, the entire story of this incredible comeback, it now all hinges on these last few seconds. The tension is just insane. The ball is in the hands of their superstar. The Jazz have all the momentum in the world. Can OKC even salvage this? Can they possibly find a way to get to overtime? And then this happens. With pure ice in his veins, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does what superstars do. He gets to his spot, he rises up, and he absolutely buries the shot right as the buzzer sounds. What an incredible clutch play to save the game. Just unbelievable. 114 apiece. Just stop and think for a second how close this was to being a complete disaster of a loss. But instead, thanks to a moment of pure magic, we are headed to overtime. You see, that shot, it didn't just tie the game. It completely shifted the momentum. It was like the Thunder were given a second life, and heading into that overtime period, you just knew they were determined not to waste it. And they sure didn't. OKC outlasted Utah in a really hard-fought overtime, finally closing the game out. Final score, 129-125. You could just feel a huge collective sigh of relief from the Thunder and all their fans. Look, this was not just another win on the schedule. After that blowout loss, and especially after blowing a 20-point lead in this one, they absolutely needed to show they could win a tough one. They had to prove they could step up when it mattered most, and they did. Okay, so a win like this, it doesn't happen because of just one play, right? It takes incredible individual efforts from a bunch of guys. So let's take a look at who made this amazing comeback happen. So first and foremost, you have to talk about the man of the hour. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't just clutch with that last shot. He was absolutely dominant for the entire game. He really put the team on his back. He was just unstoppable on offense, pouring in an unbelievable 46 points. It was just a massive scoring night, and his team needed every single bucket he could give them. But he wasn't just a scorer, he was also a playmaker, finding his open teammates and dishing out 6 really crucial assists. And he was active on the glass too, grabbing 6 rebounds. It was a truly complete, all-around MVP caliber performance. No other way to put it. But, and this is so important, he did not do it alone, and that's really what makes this team so dangerous. Chet Holmgren was an absolute monster inside with a huge double-double, 23 points, 12 boards, plus 3 blocks. And Jalen Williams was the playmaker, dropping 16 points and facilitating everything with 8 assists. It was a total team effort, for sure. So we end with this question. They avoided what would have been a terrible loss, they showed incredible heart, and their stars shined bright when they had to. So was this gritty, near-catastrophic, and ultimately triumphant victory the exact test this young team needed to find its championship-level focus once again? We're gonna have to wait and see.